Hello everyone and good morning. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I hope you're doing great. This is going to be a revision video for our final exam. Let's start. And actually, no, before we start, this is the second video I'm trying to record because all the previous one are deleted because of the insufficient space I had. Now I'm using an external drive and I hope things goes well. So if you see me checking the recording software every second, so that's why. Okay, what I'm going to focus a lot on the exam are the variable declarations. So basically when you declare variables, the use of the input and output, which are for the cout and cin. It's not count, it's console output or cout, and also it's not sin, it's console input. Also the use of the comparison operators like equals, bigger than, less than, and like bigger or equals or less than equals. The use of the if else statements. So basically we are going to apply logic in our code. So we need to include the if else to check for conditions. Also, I'm going to focus on how the code is organized. So basically I'm going to focus on the clean code and the program flow with checking the logical errors. So I want to focus also on something that you are still doing. Basically, when you open a new project like this, so open or new, creating a new project, I mean, new project, console application, what is happening? Using C++, final exam, for example, I'm going to overwrite it, choosing the first option in the compilers list, which is the GNU GCC compiler, then click yes. So, okay, so this is our code. So when you create a new project, do not mess with the first structure. So basically leave the library of the input output stream, the namespace, the main function, the return 0, alongside with the curly bracket and the parentheses. Do not mess with those. What you're going to delete is the first function, which is the cout function. So just remove it and make a new line by pressing the enter button. So this is the first step that you're going to do. So please, and again, do not mess with the first basic code that is going to be generated when you create a new project. Okay, so I'm going to explain the first code from the first session we covered if else statement because the code is going to be similar to this. So I'm not telling you to memorize it, I'm not telling you to copy and paste it. What I want you to do is fully understand it. So let's begin. The first thing that we're going to do is try and organize our ideas. Like, do we have variables? Are we going to get the user input? What logic or what condition are we going to check? So we need to actually make this in our mind. Even like you can grab a paper and a pen, start organizing your ideas. This is going to help a lot. So in this program, we actually compared two rockets fuel level. The one from the Falcon 9 space station, I don't remember, something like this. And the second one is from the NASA. So, for example, this is the rocket A and this is the rocket B. We declare them as an integers because the value of those variables are going to be integers. Okay? So, we are going to declare the variables. We are not going to assign them with values. Why? Because the user is going to input that. So, they are not fixed data. Like in the second session we checked if the ticket code is equals to the correct code. So the ticket code is going to be typed by the user, but the correct code is going to be fixed. I will show you. Like open this one, yeah, exactly. Is it recording? Yes, it is recording. So here we only declare the variable. alongside with the correct code. But after we assigned a value to the correct code. Why? Because that value is fixed. It is not going to be changed. Okay? But the ticket code is going to be changed. For example, what if a person gave us a fake ticket with a fake code? Okay? So we're going to check if the ticket code is equal to the correct code. And again, the equals that we are going to use when comparing two values are double equals. The single equals are to assign value to a certain variable, but two equals to compare two values. So I'm going to delete this or leave this here. So we declared the variable, so that's good, without assigning values to them. After, we are going to, and also like there's something, so you can actually type a title for the program, like to organize it, to make it clear and everything, so the user will know what program is this. So space rocket launch comparison and compare the fuel level of two rockets. And it's going to be shown like this. Wait, let me save, build the file. There you go. So these are our two functions of the outputs. So the outputs of those two messages are going to be shown on the top of our console. Okay, so this is a way of how we are going to tell the user that this program is going to be for comparing the fuel levels of two rockets. Okay, this is optional. Okay, for example, if you have time at the end, just go back and type it. Now we are going to input two values, right? The first value, which is the fuel level of the first rocket, rocket A. The second one is for rocket B. The user is going to input those values. For example, he have like a list of statistics and he want to compare two rocket fuel levels. So he will write the first value here. The second one is going to be stored here. Okay, so enter the fuel for the rocket A. So before asking the user for the user input, we need to show him a text of whether this input is going to be an age, a fuel, this is going to be for rocket B, the ticket code, oops, sorry, or anything. So we need to clarify what value is going to be typed by the user. Okay, for example, 10. Of course, it's not going to be 10, but this is only an example. The second one is 5. Okay, so this is the C out and this is the C in. So basically the console input is going to wait for the user till he will input something. So basically it's going to be like this forever, okay, until the laptop goes down, or I don't know, like the last day of the world, something like this. 5 for example. Okay, so I'm gonna close it. So we ask the user for the value of the first rocket. The same goes for the second rocket. Now the important part, do not forget uh, the whole reason or the whole purpose of this program. We are going to try and compare the fuel level of two rockets, rocket A and rocket B. So basically we are going to use logic and we are going to use if statements to do this. So this is the first condition that we are going to check. This is the second, and we are going to talk about this at the end. So what are the conditions that we are going to check? Two conditions. The first condition is what if the rocket A fuel level is bigger than the value of the rocket B. We can inverse actually, we can just put B here and A here, but it's okay. It's the same. So what if the rocket A has more fuel level than rocket B? What if the rocket A has less fuel level than rocket B? And some kind of condition here. So before actually checking or executing the program, when writing an if statement, you only need to write if and opening the parentheses. So if you open a parentheses, the IDE, the code block IDE, is going to complete this for you. It is going to close the parentheses for you. So we will know that you're going to use a if statement or you're going to use a parentheses like this. You see? So the same goes for the curly brackets. So at the end, include the curly brackets and make a new line. Okay? You can make curly brackets in another new line like this. Okay? But it's the same. Just leave it as it is. You can make it like this. So you go back to our code. We are going to check for the first condition. The first condition if the rocket A fuel level have more value than the rocket B. So if this condition is true, we are going to get this as an output. So basically you are trying to check for a condition. If the condition is met, this output is going to be executed. So let's try it with an example where this condition is going to be true. So we're going to give 10 to the rocket A and 5 to the rocket B. So the IDE, or basically not the IDE, the compiler, the programming languages, all are going to be written from the, it's going to be read from the first line till the last line. So it is going to be reading the include IOStream first, then the namespace, then it is going to check if we have a main function. Even the empty line here is going to be read. It's going to read. So basically the compiler will read it. Then this one even comments. Okay, so basically we're going to check for the first condition. If the condition is true, this output will be shown and the program will stop. Okay, but now let's inverse. What if the rocket B has more value than rocket A, which is our case here, which is the second condition. So when we are trying to check for two conditions or more, we're going to link them with else. So this is the first if statement and this is the second if statement, and we're going to connect them with else. So else if, else we have this kind of condition, else we have another condition. So you can write it like this. It is going to be true, but this is not right actually. Why? If this condition, if this if statement will be actually, the problem is like we have one if statement. This is one if statement. If we just delete it else, this if statement will be like by its own. It's going to be like this. This is an if statement and this is a whole if statement. But no, we don't have this. All of this code, all of this line are only one if statement. So basically we need to include else between the conditions, between the two if statements. So else, then we're going to check for the second condition. So what if this is false? What if the rocket A has less than the rocket B? So basically, if this false, if this condition is false, we are going to jump into the second condition and we are going to check if the rocket A has less value than the rocket B. So we're going to check this now. So basically I'm going to get or write his 5 and I'm going to write 10 here. So rocket B has more fuel than rocket A. So what happened here is this condition was checked. So is the rocket A bigger than rocket B? No, it's not our case here. So this condition is not true and this output was not are not going to be generated. It's not going to be shown in our program. So basically we're going to jump in the second condition. What if the rocket A now has less fuel level than the rocket B, which is our case here. So basically it is true. So this output will be shown in our program. Okay, now what about the else? What's the story behind else? So else is going to check every single remaining condition. Okay, In our case, we have only one remaining condition, which is what if the rocket A and B have the same amount of the fuel level? What if the rocket A equals to rocket B? So maybe some of you will have an idea of making another condition here and write the rocket A equals to rocket B, like this. So what if the rocket A is equal to rocket B? And again, to compare, we are going to use two equals, okay? One equals is to assign a value to a certain variable, like this, for example, int age equals to a value. We are going to use one equal symbol to assign a value to a certain variable, okay? And we are going to use two equals to compare two values. So we we are not going to actually write the condition because it is so stupid to write it. So basically else is going to take care of the remaining condition for us. So we have this else condition. Wait a second. So I was checking if the recording is actually going on. Uh, else is going to check if the both rocket have the same amount. Okay, so and the remaining condition is if the rockets have the same value. For example, I'll give you an example. Int magic number. Okay, we are going to ask the user uh, if the magic number is equal to 10. If it's equal to 10, he won. Else, he lost. So if magic number equals to 10, I'm going to just make a comment and say you won. Else, he lost. So how many conditions we have in this case? So basically we have unlimited condition to check. So what if the user actually input 2? What if it's 3? What if it's 11, 12, a million, trillion? Okay, so all of those conditions are going to be checked here. Okay, so we have the magic number. If it's 10, okay, so that's it. He won, the program will stop, and that's it. But what if he actually picked any number but 10? All of those conditions will be checked here in the else. The same goes for this one actually. So we have two conditions here. If it has like more or less or equal. So we are so lucky because we have only one remaining condition. But like the case like I told you of the magic number, we have unlimited conditions to check. What if he chose 10? What if he chose 11, 12, 13? If he chose 10, that's it, he won. But what about the other numbers? So we are going to check for the first condition using the if. We are going to link the two if statements using the else and check for the second condition. What if the rocket A has less value than the rocket B? And you are going to check for the remaining conditions. In our case, we have only one remaining condition, which is what if the rockets have the same amount of fuel level? And that's it. And this is the return 0 and the end of the program. And this is the closing curly bracket of the main function. So I hope you understand what is happening here. And the code in the final will be like so similar to this. Is it recording? Yes, it is recording. So basically we're going to have like another topic, another theme, but the same like the same logic. Okay, variable declaration, using the input and output function, and music logic by including the if else statements. So in the session, like during the session, we are going to compare uh, maybe like two values. Maybe it's bigger than, maybe it's equals, we don't know. but it's easy. Like for example, if we want to check if it's equal, so basically use this. If it's bigger or equals, just use this. Okay, less or equals. Okay. Sorry. So during the session in the exam, when you finish your code, you're going to copy the code, copy it, and submit it in a Google form. I will give you the link of the Google form in the whiteboard, like we have done with the first assessment quiz. You have done it in Google form. So you typed a link, this link, I will give you like a short link, and submit your code here, and of course your name. Okay, and click submit. So that's it for our revision. I hope you understand. If you have any question, please feel free to reach me. I will answer in Classera. I always answer in Classera. That's it. So have a good day and see you in class.